and we are back again with Game Plan on 99.7 GFA. My name is Fentuo, Tahiru Fentuo, your host. We're on from now till 3 p.m., bringing you the best perspectives from the world of sports. And quite a lot has been happening. Tonight, we've got lots of transfers covered. Ronaldo has finally completed his move to Manchester United. What exactly does he bring to that team? We've had first look at some teams in pre-season. Manchester United, Chelsea have all been involved. Tottenham Hotspur, Arsenal. What early indications have you seen in those squads? What is needed? What is covered already? What's happening with Moses Caicedo to Chelsea? And with Fofana out, should they sign Harry Maguire? That's a conversation we'll have here on the show. Right here at home, it almost looks like a coordinated attack against a Black Stars coach, Chris Hughton. This week has been quite eventful. Comments from people in high places. George Amaku said he's not being impressed by Chris Hughton. He's only played 3 matches. Randy Abbey says a lot needs to improve. He had a lot of expectations for Chris Hughton and his backroom staff because they've been there for a while. He says, we don't have a lot of time. We need to improve and improve very, very quickly. Aminu Shado, the team manager, has said that he believes that we are better off with continuity. He says, of course, that we would have been better if Otuado continued as head coach. He has explained that is not to say he doesn't support Chris Hughton. He actually wants more time for Chris Hughton. But the question we are asking is this necessary at this time? Why are we already pumping pressure, whether perceived or natural, on the head coach of the Black Stars? Is it warranted, given recent failures? Oh, this is quite unnecessary. After 3 matches into his 2-year contract, key people already want him to improve. He's played 3 games, 2 draws, and a win. So that's an essential part of the conversation. The conversation is yours today. Towards the end of the show, I'll try and see if I can open up some phone lines for you to call in and contribute. But for now, you can tune in using our Twitter Spaces. We're live there. We're streaming there on Joy 99.7 FM and also on Joy Sports GH. We're streaming on Twitter Spaces, so you can listen to us live during your lunchtime. Also streaming on YouTube at the Joy FM handle and on Facebook at the Joy FM handle. Later today, of course, this show will be available as a podcast for you to listen back on all the podcast platforms: Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and also on YouTube at the Joy News handle on YouTube, Joy News YouTube channel. This show will be available for you to watch back. But the show is live and interactive as usual. The WhatsApp number to send in your thoughts to is 055-111-1997, 055-111-1997. Is the pressure on Chris Hughton necessary? The calls and the demands for him to improve, are they required at this moment? Impressed or not? George Marcus says he is not impressed. Remember, he's a former management committee chairman of the Black Stars. He's an EXCO member, so is Randy Abbey. Marcus says he's not impressed. Is that realistic? Is that justified? Or you sense that perhaps there is a certain coordinated attempt at piling unnecessary or needless pressure on Chris Hughton at this point? Or you think that justifiably those comments need to come because Hughton needs to get his acts right? Where do you stand in that conversation? Galena Mate has arrived in Turkey, where he's expected to complete a move to Besiktas. What does that mean for his Black Stars career? 055-111-1997 is the WhatsApp number. Also on Twitter, leave me a message. Use the hashtag GamePlan, and I will retweet your messages and share them with the rest of our listeners from across the globe. The hashtag, of course, is game plan, or just tweet at me at Fentuo_. But tonight or this afternoon, there's only one place to start the show. Daniel Koranteng, take it away.
Nana, what's my name? Oh, Nana, what's my name? Oh, Nana, what's my
Man United player now, Sitsofe, Philip, Atsrim, Daniel Koranteng, Muftau, Nabila Abdullahi. Muftau, we missed you.
Back.
He's back on the show. How are you? Philaman.
Friends, can I tell the story of why
Muftau has been absent for the past 3 weeks.
No.
He's
He's been on leave.
Huh?
He's been on leave.
Yes, but he was supposed to resume.
He was supposed to resume.
I was supposed
Whatever time he was supposed to resume, he wouldn't have missed the plan.
What
No
is the
problem.
supposed? What is the
But-
supposed here?
but-
There's still a story. And we'll
but-
tell the story. Which story
Muftau
is
was
that?
supposed to resume work on Wednesday.
Mhm,
He was not at work on Wednesday.
mhm.
He was not at work on Thursday.
Oh, wow.
Today is Friday.
Wow.
It's today that he has decided to show up at
I
work.
can't believe this, man.
And then you see,
You see?
that it is not possible for Muftau to stay away from work when his leave is over, unless
A shock.
Daniki.
In your intro, you said there's a coordinated effort at attacking Chris Hughton.
I didn't say that. I
So
said,
this is a coordinated effort to attack me.
I
But
said
this is not an attack.
it's not an attack.
We are just spilling facts.
That's
It's the
the
truth.
Were you
The
in my
people
house?
must know.
Were
why
you in my
are
house?
absent.
Daniel, what happened? Why is Muftau?
So it
Uh-huh.
all started on Tuesday,
Yes.
the day before he was supposed to resume.
Uh-huh.
Muftau. You see, when you're on leave, you don't calculate your transport to work and things. So you think you have excess money. You understand? So
you chopped the
Muftau
money by heart.
miscalculated
Uh-huh.
and he chopped the money by heart.
His salary.
Thank you. So Muftau didn't calculate for the last 2 weeks of this month. So he's sitting here, he's broke. But that's a side issue.
Yes.
So Muftau going home from Medina,
Uh-huh.
he was going home and his stomach did,
That's right.
you know, chop since morning. So he said, this thing I for buy two. But I see now the economy to 20 Ghana, you can't get proper rice.
And he only had 20
And
cities.
he only had 20 cedis. And
Uh-huh.
he wanted rice or nothing else. You understand?
Yes.
So he looked around Medina. The Indomie women too, they say 25 and above.
That's right.
So right now, Muftau was hot.
Uh-huh.
So he was walking around Zongo Junction area.
Yes.
Then he-
That place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then he took a sharp turn.
That's right.
Sharp turn. Then he saw a woman in the corner there selling granules.
Wait. Fried granite or
No.
the boiled one?
Raw. The raw granite.
Wait. The one they harvested straight from the farm.
Burger straight from the farm. Straight groundnut.
And that one is cheap. It's raw.
That one
It's
is
raw.
cheap.
Yeah, they've not done anything to it.
Cheap and plenty.
Now, if you are holding 20 Ghana, Muftau lives at Atomic area.
Yes.
20 Ghana. Somebody would think that Muftau will buy granite like,
10
let's say,
city.
10 CD.
Yeah, take change.
And then use the
for transport. No.
Muftau bought raw granite, 20 Ghana, one Olonka,
Oloka.
full Olonka,
And walked home.
and he walked from Medina to this thing, to Atomic. Now when Muftau got home, he didn't even fry the granite too.
Oh.
Charlie, he poured the granite into a bowl, raw like that. Then he went to fetch water from the tap. See, some big cup. See, Muftau has some blue cup. He has some blue cup.
He has brought it to work
Oh
a
yeah,
few
it's
times
1.5 liters.
to drink cowboy coffee.
1.5 liters. The cup is 1.5 liters. He filled it with water. Oh. Tahiru, water. Then he put it on the side. Then he took the granite, crack. Then he drank the water.
He will chew some, then drink water.
See, I promise you, approximately 17 minutes later, 17 minutes later,
170.
his stomach, you see, the stomach is a very interesting organ.
That's right.
When you are hungry, it's the top side of the stomach that does crrr.
True story.
When something goes wrong, it's the lower side of the stomach that does crrr.
The bowel movement close
Thank
to
you.
the down there.
So the connection between the stomach and the large intestines and the rectum, it started doing crrr. Then Muftau, you see the bottom sticks too. When something wants to drop, then they'll start twerking on their own.
That's right.
So
So
they
that's,
will do-
that's when you squeeze your legs.
That's when you
Why
squeeze it.
is
No, allow him to go
no,
on. Man, make him
Danny
go
is talking
on.
as if you see like
Even like Danny did my
as
house.
the saying goes, everybody has a guardian
Oh, but you
angel.
told me.
Danny is speaking
I
as if
told you.
he was like he was the angel around Muftal throughout, so he was seeing it
Oh,
freely.
yes.
I am.
Please, Muftar, relax.
I
No,
am
Muftar, relax.
flabbergasted.
No, relax. Daniel, finish the story.
Hey, thank you.
So
Make it finish the
No,
story.
Muftar, please.
you see
Finish
that
the
thing
story.
where is here and this one, Muftar, don't do like we all know what you were going
Finish
through.
the story.
You understand? When you are in those situations, we all understand how the Botos chicks behave.
Che, they'll
Then
be
they'll be-
tweaky.
Twerking
Then you
like
squeeze your legs.
you squeeze your leg, then do.
But still.
Oh, we were there. Muftar has called Fentuo Tahiru, and I was there with Fentuo. He said, "Boga, Charlie, tomorrow
I can't come to
I
work.
can't come to work." Friend said, "Oh, what is wrong?" He says, "I'm going through a situation I can't control." Charlie, the guy took collodium. He took
You know work.
Charlie, you know where? He went to Google. They said they should drink this tea.
He consulted Google doctor.
He said it won't work. Wednesday afternoon. He said, "Oh, so that was Tuesday afternoon."
Yeah.
Wednesday afternoon, he called back.
I
He
remember.
said, "Oh, you remember that one?"
Yeah, I said, Charlie,
He said,
what's going on? How
"What's
far
going on?
now?
How far?"
Any improvement?
He said, "I thought I was okay. I
But,
thought I was okay, but this thing is unpredictable, my brother."
it was Thursday. Then Thursday, yesterday, he called me. I asked him, Muftau, how are you feeling? He said, my brother, now the thing is thick small.
Now me, buy you. Have a little bit first.
Welcome to the show. Thank you. I'm sorry. No, we have to start on that. No, but Muftau, we missed you. So
No.
welcome
It's
to the show.
okay to start on that. I go. The pressure I
No
go
problem.
there, and the interview
No
to ask me that
problem.
one. If you grab you go talk about.
Sitsofe, Philip Atsrim. Listen,
What's up?
let's get straight to it, okay?
Quick.
Now, on Sunday, our very good friend, on Friday, Shadow was here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. He came here to talk football DNA. All right. No problem. No problems. See, when you come to Joy, you don't have any problems. Then,
When you go another place.
hold on. Then Saturday, free. Sunday evening, sit at home. The Shadow, sit at home. No. Your man, he didn't sit at home. He went to another station. And out of excitement, he said plenty things. But you see the way the media works. You can say all the sense. But you say it on one sentence, and the people see headlines there, and then they will take it. And unfortunately for him, I listened to the whole thing, and I could see the sense he was trying to make. Okay, he was trying to make a sense of why we needed longevity, and longevity is good. But certain sentences, if you say it because of perception already, people read meanings. So this is what Aminu Shadow said concerning ex-coach Otto Addo, which has now been elongated to implicate the current coach Chris Hughton. Listen to this.
I've always said, and I've made this very public, I believe that we would have been better off with Otto Addo continuing, because he made mistakes at the World Cup. He has never been at that level before. He is somebody who learns on, who takes lessons out of failures, and I believe would have been better placed to make right decisions now. But that is gone.
Okay, it is gone. The comment itself there is not gone. It's here. So Shadow on 3FM on Sunday evening. I've spoken to Shadow. He says the meaning they're ascribing to it is not what he intended to communicate. And to be fair to him, if you listen to the full audio, that's not like if you take this in isolation, it has far more dangerous implications than if you listen to the full tape. That's fair. So it's important that I put that out, just to be fair to him. Then George Amwako, management committee chairman, former management committee chairman for the Black Stars. He was also asked about Chris Hughton. For him, there were no insinuations. It was clear as day. He is not impressed with Chris Hughton after 3 matches.
Yeah, to me, he's not impressive. All the games we played under him, I'm not impressed. And let's pray, so at least we'll qualify for the next AFCON in Côte d'Ivoire. Yeah. And then we'll see how we proceed from there. Because World Cup, we should qualify. we will have to qualify and go to America. Ghanaians will want to go to America, but so far, a lot will have to be done.
Okay. I have not been impressed. He said he was in Angola for the game. He's not been impressed at all. That the work that remains to be done for Chris Hughton is huge. And he doesn't need 10 matches to see that Nkoye, only 3 games. He is satisfied. He's seen enough to conclude that he's not impressed with Chris Hughton. Randy Abe also spoke to Spice FM in Takrady, and that was on Tuesday night, I believe. And this is what he said regarding Chris Hughton, practically saying that his expectations have not been met and the work that remains to be done is quite huge. Listen.
We think that there's a lot of work to be done, or because we have a lot of expectations about Chris Hughton and his team made up of Dudu Dramani and Boateng, and Ole, and we believe that based on the fact that they've been around the team for a while and all that, they could hit the ground running. We're not too happy. We think that there has to be a lot of improvements. It's pretty obvious that there are a lot of improvements that have to be made, and we also don't have all the time in the world, so we need to be acting fast.
We don't have time. He said we need to act fast. So improvements have to come, and they have to come fast. In other words, Hughton doesn't have a lot of time. You've heard that, and these are 3 top officials of the Ghana Football Association. I am not here to say or make suggestions that it's a coordinated effort, and they could be expressing, and actually we should clarify that they were expressing these opinions in their independent capacities. Randy Abe is an ESCO member. He's clearly, you heard him in the voice. He says his expectations were huge. So far, they've not been met. The work that remains to be done is huge. Marcus says he's not being impressed. Aminu Shado says we need longevity. So the question ultimately is, what are we doing here? He's only been in charge for 3 games.
How do you determine when somebody is speaking in his capacity as an individual, or when somebody is speaking in his capacity as a worker of the Football Association? Because you just said that Dr. Randy Abe was speaking in his individual capacity, but how do you differentiate that from where you sit?
So that's the point. Because he spoke alone, the only judgment we can form is that he was speaking in his individual capacity.
No.
That's the only judgment.
But
that is the only practical judgment.
on what basis?
But do you have an idea what might have happened behind the scenes before he went public?
Because I don't know exactly. Because I don't know that.
No,
I can only say what I know, and
No,
what I know
the
is
only clarity would be on what portfolio did that radio station call him?
As an ESCO member.
If they call you as an ESCO member and you speak anything Ghana Football Association on that platform,
You're not speaking as an
you're not
individual.
speaking as Dr.
Randy
Randy Abe.
Abe.
No. They didn't call you to ask you about Pando Heart of Lions.
That's fair enough.
They didn't call you to ask you about the next election. Would you contest or not? They're asking you about Ghana football. You're an ESCO member.
That's fair.
You see, should I?
Yeah, no, go on.
yes,
No.
go.
You've established the grounds that it is difficult to conclude that it was an individual.
Yes.
And I'm saying that that's fair enough.
And you see, and everything they've said is handsome and beautiful, but it only implicates them.
How?
Thank you. All right. Now, what Aminu Shadow said, if I say it, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
If you say it as a broadcaster, as a journalist, there's nothing wrong with it. When he says it, it doesn't matter
how well he meant.
how he puts it.
Yeah.
When he says it, because of the position that he holds and the fact that he works closely with the coach, because the coach has to give you his selection, he has to give you his starting 11, those who will be on the bench, those who have been left out. He even has to send the players he scored up to you, the team. You do a lot of work.
Yeah.
But the fact that you work closely with him, probably he shouldn't have said it, because once you say that, then the capacity as the team manager of the Black Stars pings up in the minds of people. And that's why people are saying, how do you expect Chris then to feel comfortable working with you? I absolutely know what Aminu Shadow was trying to communicate. But you see, he probably couldn't differentiate, or he probably didn't realize that as a team manager, once he speaks, people will read through, or people will read, or people will listen to what he said through the lenses of the voice of the team manager.
True.
And he says that, for longevity's sake, had they kept Otoado, blah blah blah,
we would have been at a better place.
It is all well and possibly true. No one can tell. Of course, you can be there 10 years and still flop.
Yeah.
And this is why it implicates they themselves, the GFA, because before Otoado would become the Black Stars coach, Chris Hughton was available.
True.
We all knew at some point that Otto was not going to stay post the World Cup. In fact, he had made that clear. And before Otto became the caretaker of the Black Stars, he was a part-time assistant coach to Milo. Dr. Randiabe was part of those who were tasked to go and find a new manager to replace CK.
Yep.
They came back with the name of Milo. And they came back with the suggestion of making Otto, and at the time Otto and Maxwell Kunedu.
They were the assistants.
Otto missed out on the AFCON because he was a part-time job. His primary job won't release him to be there at the AFCON.
True story.
So if you are considering longevity, and you are considering that if you have a man there for a period, it is good for the team. Knowing what we knew pre the World Cup, that Otto wasn't going to be there, it didn't make any sense then that the president of the FA and those who went after Otto went to pick Otto.
Yes.
Because quite clearly, after the World Cup, we would have to restart with another coach.
True.
It turns out that coach is Chris.
Yeah.
So if you had the whole knowledge that time no day, we have to qualify for the AFCON, there will be World Cup. If we have a manager who stays long enough, it will be good for the team. Why did you go for Otoado?
In fact, Chris was in Ghana when they were flying to Germany.
That is what I'm saying. That before Otto became manager, Chris was here.
Isn't it, and you make a very good point.
Yeah.
Doesn't it feed into the perception that perhaps changing the coach wasn't their idea, and that if it was left to them alone, they would have kept Otto?
No. They couldn't have kept Otto because Otto. It was clear that Otto wasn't going to leave Dortmund for Ghana. Anything else is emotions. If you think, Otto would have enjoyed staying in Ghana if he won the war, all of those are.
So you're saying that they already subscribed to the short-sightedness the moment they committed to Otto?
No, we knew.
Yeah.
Even Otto said it when he was leaving the job that he had already said that he won't continue irrespective of the results at the World Cup. And I was at the press conference at the team hotel of the Black Stars when Otto made those declarations. And I even asked him a question that, coach, you took this job on a part-time. Do you think, on hindsight, that if you had a job on full-time, you'd have better prepared this team? He said, well, maybe, but maybe his family would have suffered a lot of things.
Yeah.
We didn't answer the question, but that's... So we knew that there will be no longevity with Otto. Now, this is where I've been saying this for 2 years.
Okay.
That we have a very young squad, and we have a perfect opportunity of preparing the team for this AFCON.
Yeah.
And if you like, for the World Cup that is ahead. Otto we knew was going to go, so he's gone. We had to bring in another coach in Chris Hughton. Now, we brought in Hughton, who's been here for 3 games. And I'll be honest, when all of them say that they are not impressed with the brand of football, I agree. But I don't think the solution to the way we will play is only about the coach. Because we've changed Kosi Apia. We brought in CK. We brought in Milo. We brought in Otto. There is Chris. What makes you think that all of the problems you are facing is coaching? Maybe it's time. So you see, they've been in office, Dr. Randiabe, George Amakun, Keto Kreku. They've been in office for like 4 years. And they've said that they've
had 5
overachieved.
coaches, by the way.
Yeah, they are saying that they've overachieved in their term of office because when they took over the GFA, it was at its all-time low. Post Anas.
So really, anything else is an achievement.
Good. Why don't you
we're
also
at the bottom of the bottom?
Why don't you also push the same energy to Chris Hughton? When at the time he took over the Black Stars, we were at our all-time low. We are going to the AFCON, had a disastrous AFCON. We went to the World Cup, we exited in the first round. Like, our football hasn't been good. So if you are saying you have overachieved because when they took over the FA 4 years ago, we were at our all-time low, what should the manager who's been who's been in charge of the team for only 3 games also say? So yes, if you guys deserve time to work, back the manager and give him
time.
time.
Even ask for a second tenure.
Yes. If you need a second tenure to continue your good work, what makes you think the coach who's been here for only 3 games doesn't need time? And the truth is,
well, to be fair, none of them has said that he doesn't need or require the time.
no, they've not, and they've not also said that he requires it or need it. They are saying they want the results now.
They said we don't have time.
And that is my problem. You see, That is my problem. So you're not even telling us that, oh yeah, we are not impressed with what we've seen, but we need to put a lot of things in place. We need to do this. We need time. Because when you begin to speak this way, you're telling all Ghanaians that the coach has to start delivering now.
Yeah.
When in truth, you have to tell all Ghanaians that our team needs a lot of work for it to get to the level we want. And that is where you measure, engage expectations. So for me, it's almost as if they are not backing the coach enough in public. If Chris feels like he's not being backed by the people he's working with enough, it is justified. If you're not happy with something, there are things you can say publicly, but there are things that you have to tell the coach to the face and leave it out of the public space.
True.
So that you can
especially in that capacity as an ESCO member, you have access to the coach.
Yes, you get it. And that's where my problem is. So I think they have to work together as a collective. Give the coach what he needs. The coach doesn't have a psychologist. The coach lacks so many things.
Yeah.
Since he came, you've not been able to organize one friendly. He's been here since January.
And there were
or
opportunities.
since February or March. He's been here since March. You've not been able to give him one single friendly game. And there were windows where you could have given him that to try his hands on things. So you've not done your part of the job, but you want to blame the coach for not doing his job fully. So I think, Charlie, some way.
Daniel, is there an aspect of it that is justified though? Because he's played 3 games. He's won 1. We haven't qualified for the AFCON yet. And with those 3 matches, to be fair, if the results were better, we would have qualified for the AFCON by now. He's failed to deliver on that. The football, like Sitsofe said, the brand of football hasn't been impressive. So if anybody says, I haven't been impressed with the coach, well, is there not some truth in that?
Okay. They hired him, right?
Yeah, presumably.
Yeah. So they know his track record.
Yes.
Mention one team that Chris Hughton has played or has managed that has played an exciting brand of football.
His Newcastle were good. His
They were
Brighton
good,
not so much.
not exciting.
The Newcastle in championship was decent.
So if you know the guy's brand of football, you know his philosophy, and then you hire him, and then
is it just that though? What about the results?
No, that's I'm speaking to George Amoako's criticism of his style.
Yeah.
It has no basis. You don't hire Pep Guardiola and tell him to come and play defensive football. Then you don't know what you want. You need to know what you want and bring in somebody who can get you what you want. So that's a non-starter. But my point is, I'm actually very happy that the GFA, they have standards. I'm happy, and then this is in the spirit of keeping the same energy. I'm happy that they can look at these Black Stars and tell themselves that they are not happy. Because then it means that they have a certain standard that they expect the Black Stars to be at. I'm only disappointed that they didn't criticize themselves when our under-20s failed to qualify for the AFCON. We're just kicked out of the WAFU group stages.
Yeah. Cote d'Ivoire won it yesterday.
Yeah. I'm also quite disappointed that they didn't criticize themselves when our under-17s hosted the WAFU and we also failed to qualify from the group stages.
Yeah.
That one, we didn't hear anything. I'm also quite disappointed that when our under-17s were banned for age cheating, we still didn't had an official. Yeah, the maidens. We still haven't had an official publication to even tell us whether it's true or not. It's CAF who told us. The GFA hasn't up to now. They've not told us anything. They didn't criticize themselves for that. They didn't criticize themselves when the Black Queens failed to qualify for the women's AFCON.
And then the Black Satellites went
and the Black
Satellites champions.
And they were
to Niger.
And they were good.
Yes.
All those ones they've not seen. But it's Chris Hughton's 3 games.
No, wait. Daniel, don't go there yet.
I've not even finished.
Add AFCON. When we finished bottom, didn't win a game.
We didn't win a game.
You know who Keto blamed? He said we have Messi.
They said we have Messi and Ronaldo.
So it's not the coach's fault. That time it wasn't the coach's fault.
And you see, that particular statement, it pained me.
Yeah.
Because had Kate told me, knowing my relationship with Cristiano, I just would have called him to come and play for Ghana.
My friend, be serious.
No, it's true. No, my point is we can all choose to be silly if we want to be silly.
That part is true.
It's true. You finished.
To be fair, that was quite a cynical comment.
Yeah. You were bottom of the group, the worst ever AFCON performance. after
And that
telling
was
us
sniding the players. So that was
Yes.
telling us that we don't have
we
good
don't
players.
have good players. They
Today
are
he says
sham.
it's coaching.
Now it's a coach's problem. It's Chris Hughton's 3 matches that you can see. So me, my own is, if you are piling pressure on Chris Hughton, sack yourself first for all the failures of the past. Oh no, it's true, because you set standards.
Yeah.
You know what is nice, you know what is good, and you know what is not good. So since you are telling us that Chris Hughton must improve, but you have overachieved, there's sort of a disconnect somewhere. So go back and go and check again.
The
And
standard
then
is not
sack yourself.
standardizing.
It's not standardizing. So sack yourself. You understand? When they said they should Black Stars, the poor showing at the AFCON, they did reshuffling.
Yeah.
Maintain that same silly committee and then put different people. The silly concept of a committee for different national teams.
Even though there was a massive recommendation from a
Against
subcommittee during NS
against it.
normalization, saying that scrap management
it.
committees. No, they
But
won't
they
do it.
thought it wise. And it's good for them.
Yes.
It is job for the people. How
Yes.
do you
Thank
scrap
you.
it?
So go back and then check per the standards that you are measuring Chris Hughton's performance so far on. Use it also to measure yourself.
Yeah.
And if Chris Hughton needs to improve, then maybe you need to improve. If there's no time, and if Chris Hughton doesn't take care where we are going, you remove him. You to sack yourself
Interesting.
and then come back.
That's right. Muftar, you get the last bite on this.
I don't know whether you will have to ask me a question. I'm just
I
going to
don't
talk.
know. That's why I say you have a live bite on this because I really don't want us to drag this. But my personal opinion is I just feel like, and Sitsofe is absolutely right. I think perhaps the conversation can be had because I personally cannot say I have been impressed. It's been 3 games, but nobody who has watched those 3 matches will say to themselves, including everybody listening right now, that they have been impressed. But also, it's early days yet. And I'm saying that the GFA members, they have a right.
Did we give ourselves a window to tell Chris Hughton that this is what we want to see? Did we ever create such a window
At
for
least
him?
not publicly.
And I'm not too certain that anyone expected Chris Hughton to start playing a Pep Guardiola kind of football in 3 matches. This is a man who hasn't had opportunity of even working with players for more than 3 days before a game. The first game against Angola, how many days did he have to prepare? The second leg and the game against Madagascar. How many days were the players available for Chris Hughton to prepare them before these games? And the funny thing, actually, for me, is that when people begin to make comments like this, it feels into the minds of the general public that the FA are horrible when it comes to communicating to us. They keep raising standards they know very well that they themselves cannot even meet. If the FA is to be very honest with themselves, they will tell us that maybe we have a 5-year plan, we have a 10-year plan to win the African Cup of Nations. We are going to give the coach 4 years, 5 years contract and believe in whatever he's going to bring on board. If we win the African Cup before that, it's a bonus. But we want to be able to win the Africa Cup within the next 5 years. When you speak like this to Ghanaians and to the fan base of the senior national team, then we would follow and appreciate that you have a plan for the national team.
Yeah.
But if you come and tell us that within 3 games, 270 minutes of football, you are expecting some kind of football from the head coach, and when you fail and Ghanaians rise, then you go that Ghanaians are not patient enough. That's one thing I always struggle to accept, because you are the very person who is raising our hopes. You keep raising the hopes of Ghanaians that we've got a team. When we went to Cameroon for the AFCON, the president never lost an opportunity to tell us that we were here to win. Then when we came back, in fact, after that opening game against Morocco, he granted an interview and said, our vision to win the AFCON has not changed. We are here to win it.
After the first one.
After the first
Which
game
was a
against
defeat.
Morocco. Yes. And the next game was supposed to be against Gabon.
Who said it?
The GFA
Oh,
president.
but recently at the Congress, he said that it was his hope that we go and bring the AFCON, the
Yeah,
World
he
Cup.
expected that we're going
To
to
go to
win.
win the World Cup. That's what he said.
So if the president himself tells us this, right? And when we fail and come back, you would ask a question, a cynical question for that matter. If we have Messi or Ronaldo, let me know. I'll let them call him to the team. For real? The comments that Aminu made, I'm sure Aminu will be the first person to admit that based on the position he occupies, he
You
shouldn't
should not
have said it.
that.
Yes, Aminu will be the first person to admit it. But I think that sometimes when you find yourself in certain areas, there are certain comments you don't have to make. Aminu made a comment. 2 executive council members have actually said same
In the same week.
in the same week.
Where
It-
there's no Blasters game.
In fact, it buttresses the point many people made that, and like Sicho was saying, if you knew very well that you were not going to have auto post World Cup, you were very sure that after the World Cup you had to start all over
Mhm.
with a new man in charge. Chris was here in February 2022. In fact, funny enough, I don't know what I was doing on the internet. I came across the story I published on the appointment of Milovan River. Siki Akuno was sacked on 13th September. And the following day, which was a Tuesday, 14th September, that was when we published that they had contacted Milovan River to come for the job because they were given 3 days to find a coach.
There was a
You-
subcommittee that was put together
Yes,
for that purpose.
McAddo, Randy
Dr.
Abe,
Randy
and
Abe.
Salif
That's what
Zida.
I'm saying.
Yes.
McAddo, Randy Abe, and Salif. These were the 3 members of that committee who were tasked to hire the coach. With
They
them.
brought in Rahiva.
Yes, with
And
the
they
70
defended him to the moon.
Oh, yes,
They brought him
every
and
single
gave
thing.
him Otoado as a part-time assistant. Gave him Maxwell Kunodo as a part-time assistant. Well, yeah.
And the funny thing,
So
So
actually,
now
they
their,
will-
that window.
their defense of Rahiva makes sense now. It does mean that was their decision. So they stood by it.
They
The
stood-
fact that they are now
so
Sideline
means that
small.
perhaps
okay, so like I'm saying, it buttresses the point that
Whoa.
many people actually made that we never wanted Chris Hughton. And in fact, I had the interview with an
wait,
EXCO
hold
member.
on. Who never wanted Chris
The
Hughton?
GFA never wanted Chris Hughton. It's not a
But-
hidden secret.
But it's their coach now.
I'm just telling you, it is not a hidden secret.
So how do you hire somebody you don't want?
Why was he offered a
don't
1-year
pay.
contract?
Huh?
I'm not going to mention the name of the person who actually asked them to increase the contract to 21 months.
Wait,
I'm not-
hold on, Muftau. You are giving too much information at the same time. Back up a little bit. You are telling me,
The
first
GFA
of all,
never
that
wanted Chris
the
Hughton.
GFA didn't want Chris.
They
Hughton.
never wanted
One.
Chris Hughton.
That's one.
Yes.
2, you are saying as a result of that, initially they wanted to offer
They
him a
offered
12
him
month.
a 1-year contract. And in fact, when
And
the
somebody
contract-
asked them to make it
when
21
the
months.
contract was submitted,
The paymaster.
they were like, but Wafa, you're giving them a 1-year contract. What is he going to do with a 1-year contract? And the contract was even going to expire when we are going into the AFCON.
Wait.
That was the contract that was being offered to Chris Hughton.
Wait, his contract was supposed to expire in December,
In
And just around the time we are going to
2023.
around the time we are going into the AFCON.
And would have gone to Akon with a new coach.
And guess
Yeah.
what? Hey, they did
The
delay
coach that would have found
They did
in 3
delay
days.
tactics. The contract was signed. In fact, the contract was signed the day
I love this country.
Christian Achu was going to be buried. That was the day Chris Hughton signed his contract.
Oh, the day I was following you about, no?
That was the very day. When he left the place, he went straight to the GFA secretary and signed his contract.
Interesting.
That was the day Chris Hughton signed his contract.
Remember that me and Juliet were following you
did.
everywhere.
Assistant coaches.
In fact-
You're lobbying to assistant coaches.
They were doing Takashi. That's what actually delayed his appointment.
I see.
Because 1, Chris Hughton was not happy with the 1-year contract.
Of course.
And 2, the people who are going to pay said, come on, 1-year contract you're giving to this man. It can't even do anything. And in fact, I had a conversation with
So the non-football people knew that 1-year contract wasn't enough.
yes, but
But the football people said,
but the football people said 1 year was enough.
They are going to give him 1 year.
And the
contract.
same football people are the ones who also want longevity.
They are the very people who want longevity for a head coach.
For the
So,
same people who
es-
brought in
so
a part-time coach who was
essentially-
not going to stay.
Yeah. Essentially, what Muftau is saying is that the commentary now does not help the perception
Exactly.
that they
They didn't
probably
want
don't
Chris.
like this
They
man.
probably
or they
don't like
want-
Chris.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't help it.
I mean, the point
And-
is very well made.
And just to sign it out pretty quick, when these things happen,
Okay.
right? What kind of relationship do you want to have with the head coach? Who is in charge?
Because I can imagine when Amini shows up to
To the next assignment of the Black Stars.
and looks at Chris Hughton in the face,
And looks
if
at Chris
he's not
Hughton in the
already
face.
met him,
Imagine
that would be
George
awkward.
Amwaku
Mm.
and Randy Abbey before the coach, what sort of relationship do you want to build with him? That's horrible. And guess what? When George Amwako was management committee chairman of the Black Stars, what sort of performance did you see from the Black Stars when Sika Akuno was in charge? In fact, he stood in South Africa and said it was over for Sika Akuno after that defeat. And then we
So
came
he
back.
does have a reputation.
But it wasn't over for him.
And funny enough, there's certain things sometimes,
Yeah.
because they are privileged things you are told, it's difficult to put them on record. You, George Amwako, was seated at a meeting when you people were presented with a Black Star squad, right? And guess what transpired? 2 players' names were taken out of the squad
This was under CK.
and replaced with certain players.
Is that knowledge of the coach?
He was there.
The coach brought his
He
list.
the coach brought his look. They told him,
And
take
they
this
said,
one
take
out
the-
and take this one out and bring this guy. Take this one too out and bring this guy.
That's right.
And guess what? After those changes were made, there was a selection. Sometimes it's funny. And sometimes there's certain things you are
Filler
not supposed
man.
to say.
Give
It
the
is-
filler.
Drop it.
It is really funny because some of these things, sometimes
They don't
go,
help the team.
They go back blaming people thinking that they are those who gave it out. But funny enough, see, I was meant to understand that there was a point CK Akuno was naming his squad. They wanted Fliman Baffo to play.
You mean not just being in the squad?
Do you recall the game Accra House of Focus Fatah Mohammed played?
That was
Yeah,
in South
South
Africa.
And he said
Where he saw the empty seat and was
scared.
scared.
It was so big. In fact, Fliman Baffo was supposed to play. Guess what? When CK Akuno announced his lineup, he told them he has problem with this position.
Oh,
Said he has problem with this position.
who said he had problems?
CK told them he has problem with this position. So please, let's share ideas. Help me fix this position.
Right back.
The right back.
Wait, Siko was talking to the management committee.
Oh, relax. He's telling them, Abi, when I name a lineup, you want to have a say on who plays. So he told them, oh, this is my lineup, but this position.
And Muftau, you know this how? You were there?
You want me to go into detail? I'm not going to detail.
Don't
I'm
disclose your
just-
sources.
I'm wrapping up on George Amwako.
So it's not a perception that they influence selection.
It is
This
not
is
a perception in the
This
end.
is evidence you're providing.
In
No,
the
but this one also seems
in
like
the
the coach
end-
too went to ask. If
in
you are the
the
coach,
end-
That's the point.
So if you are confused, coach, they'll help you. If you are
No,
sure,
no,
they'll not help
it
you.
is not. It is
You'll be
even funny.
against-
It is even funny.
Ah.
In the end,
Uh-huh.
he made a decision of who should play. Guess what transpired? When they were asking him, who did you put inside? He said, no, he's going to play Fatah Isaac with the Hasbro. He said, yeah, correct.
Fatah Mohammed.
Fatah
Yeah,
Mohammed.
Fatah Mohammed.
Let Isahaku rest.
He
His
said-
name has suffered
Put him
enough.
there. Yeah. You want
Who's giving him the thumbs up?
you want Fliman Baffo to play. Charlie, it's funny.
Interesting.
It's funny. And you are here.
Well,
If he was the management committee chairman, would he blame Chris Hughton?
maybe, because George Amwako is quite a firebrand, isn't he? He talks quite a lot. But I think this conversation, the bottom line, the conclusion is clear. Let's be mindful of our words, especially if you occupy certain positions. At the moment, it doesn't seem right for management committee members or high executive council members to pile the kind of pressure they're doing on Chris Hughton. There's already a narrative that Chris Hughton wasn't the choice of the GFA. And comments like this after only 3 games do not help that narrative.
But even if you
So
recall,
let's
Gary
be-
mentioned something here.
Yeah.
Was it the first 2-3 episodes where he said that, let's wait, a point will come, people will begin to rush at Chris Hughton and talk about how the FA never wanted him, and then there will be loads of pressure and all that. I don't know if anyone recalls
Yeah,
that.
No.
Gary mentioned it
Yeah,
here.
Gary said it.
And we are at that
Yeah,
stage already.
We are at that stage already.
You know, I'm just going to say, though, that one thing is clear. The Ghana Football Association, the only way they can really become independent and start to make their own decisions regarding the coaching is when they get to a point where they're able to pay their coaches themselves. Until then, they would just become puppets. And basically, this is what goes through all of our youth systems, because there are even coaches who coach in some of our youth national teams who were not the decisions of the Ghana Football Association. And people cannot be tasked to be managing football when they don't have the capacity to appoint who takes charge of a certain national team. And that exactly is why it is very difficult when a coach fails to lay the blame right in front of the coaches. For example, the Chris Hughton situation. If he fails, it is very difficult for you to entirely say it's the GFA's fault. So the Ghana Football Association, if you have all the money to do all the things that you're doing, you have to also get to a point where you can hire and pay your own coach. And then from then on, you can then move to the point where you're able to fund all of the national teams, because some FAs do it. And that is the standard all around the world. And that's how you can truly become independent. At the moment, that particular cocktail of one is paying, one is appointing, it's not working. It certainly isn't working for our football. And that's why we have all the problems that we have at the moment. But it's the situation. And it's a situation that we knew before we took power. And I'm talking about those in power now. It's been the arrangement for a really long time. It has brought us success. And so we are at liberty to demand success given the same conditions still exist. So you have to find a way to make it work. The blame game doesn't work. Ultimately, the Ghanaian football fans suffers. We're the ones investing our emotions and our money, I dare say, because the national team is funded by our taxes. All right, 055-111-1997. This is Game Plan on Joe 99.7. We'll take a very quick break. When we come back, we're going straight to Europe, where, of course, we'll be talking about all of the transfers that have been happening, and quite a lot of transfers have been happening in the last few days. Andre Onana being the biggest of them, of course. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.